Wherever you are, all around the world, I would like to welcome you to our webinar on dream signs and symbol interpretation. I am presently live from Canada, and it is always a great joy for our nonprofit organization to present to you every 2 weeks the webinars that are really amazing to understand and to connect with ourselves. This is a time that all together we can study the consciousness and understand the mechanism of evolution. It is amazing to know about dream interpretation. When we know how to interpret dreams, we develop our spiritual autonomy. We have the capacity to understand the multi-dimensions of the consciousness and of who we are. It is very advanced to apply spirituality to realities. A lot of people have discrepancies between their spiritual life and their material life because it's hard to connect spirituality in the world when you see a lot of insecurities, a lot of injustice, a lot of sometimes wars in certain countries, or like we have right now in the Bahamas, a major hurricane, one of the strongest hurricane on earth of category 5. And then many people will lose their house. Some of them will become very poor. They can be hurt. So sometimes it's difficult to understand this world and to think that there is a justice. So how can we understand that? It is only by making the connection that our life, our real life, is like a dream. And we are here to develop qualities. We are here to improve ourselves in everything we do. It's an experience that we do here. Our spirit has taken a form, a body, and this body experiments many things through the couple, through the family, through the work, and all the various situations we meet every day. So to understand that life is like a dream makes our way of seeing life in a total different way. We cannot see things like that in a spiritual way if we don't understand that what we live is an experience to develop qualities and to become better, and not to answer by anger or by fear or by a vengeful attitude. So this is the spiritual way of seeing life. And when we study dream interpretation and symbolic language, we can really make the connection because it's the same language. Symbolic language can explain also your life. There's a reason why you are somewhere. It's very interesting because we were talking about that this morning. How come a person can decide to retire and then to live in a place where it's a highway of hurricane? Of course, if you have lived in this country, lived in this region of the world, then you live, with the places and you adapt, etc. But at the same time, you're retired and you go somewhere where maybe you can lose your house maybe every year or every 4 years, and you can have a lot of damage, etc. So why do you have to do this? And we have someone that from the family that is there in Florida, and she lives there. And we were talking about how come, she is staying in during the time of the hurricane, she had the possibility. It was quite easy for her to, to come back. So why the person makes the decision to stay, you know? There's a lot of sensations. There's a lot of course, of possibility to help others. But when we put ourselves in danger, when we put our family in danger, when we decide to confront certain things, so how come do we do this? What is the reason why we do that? If we have the possibility to do differently, if we don't have the possibility to do differently, it's part of our destiny, it's part of our life. But sometimes people are doing this by choice, like this person, you know. So so we can understand the memories that we have with us that makes our life different from one person to another. How come a teenager can decide to listen to heavy metal music and he can become eventually very aggressive? He can start to have a lot of negative tattoos and he transform himself. And it's so extraordinary to understand that everything we experience, everything we do will have an impact in our life. And through dream interpretation, we can see the cause of that. It's like an architect that has a plan to build a building. So at first, it is just a plan, but the plan is so important because this will decide if the building will be solid, will be capable of facing any situations, or it will be like, a building that can collapse. You see? So, and even architect, when you are an architect, you need insurance to do your work, and you're supposed to have the knowledge to do your work properly. Because if you start to do plans and then people are building house or buildings with your plans, and if it's not done with the laws of constructions and in the right way, then it will create a lot of problems. So one day we understand that dreams, that symbolic language gives us this possibility to know if what we are building will be solid through time. We can ask questions in dreams. We can study our consciousness. We can see our live program, live, through meditation, through the dreams, through the situation also. Applying the law of resonance is also very, very important. To apply the law of resonance, that's something that can create, if we don't come back to ourselves, then we can get used to everything. We can even be spiritual, and then it's always the fault of someone. There are people like that. They say they are spiritual, but they don't come back to themselves. It's always others that are not right. They never think about changing themselves, changing their thoughts, changing their emotions, evolving, making good decisions or better decisions. Sometimes the ego is too strong, and it's always others and others, and our needs also. We can repress needs over a long period of time, as a spiritual person, and then you keep your needs, and eventually you have so much intense needs that you cannot do, you cannot help anymore because you don't feel good anymore in your life, in your mission, etc. I've seen this so many times with therapists or yoga teachers or whatever, people that have been in spiritual life over a long period of time, and then eventually they lose their sacred fire. They lose their sacred fire because they have not worked on themselves enough, and they have played the role of the perfect person. And if you don't go deep with that, then eventually you can start to feel fake. You can start to feel that you play a role. and you're not being capable anymore to help others. You start to be a therapist for many years, and then eventually you get tired to help people, to hear their story. It's like, because, of course, in everything you do, there will be eventually many things that you see over and over and over again. If you're a mechanician and you work in a garage, every time someone comes with a car, sometimes it can be the engine, sometimes it can be the brakes you need to change, sometimes it can be a pump, etc. But when you have 20 years, 25 years of experience, then eventually you can say, okay, yeah, you know the basic mechanics, and you know just by the sound of the car. But it doesn't mean that you are happy with your work. To be gentle, to be happy all our life, this is quite different. It's very, very different. And now we live in a very special time right now. The more and more spirituality becomes a facade for many people. They don't go deep enough. They do all kinds of training and all kinds of things like that, but they just get the sensations of the spiritual practice. They look for good energy and motivations, aspects like that, but they don't really study their thoughts, or they don't really apply the law of resonance. Applying the law of resonance is the most advanced path that we can have on self-development, because the entire world represents parts of you. So every time that you're disturbed, it's a percentage. Remember it. Don't be too tough on yourself. But through resonance, when we are disturbed, we can meet ourselves. Through what we love and like also, we can meet ourselves through the law of resonance. But what we like or what we love, is it right? Is it positive? Is it really based on qualities? Is it very beautiful for me? If I multiply this, will it be something great for humanity? So this is wonderful, when we enter in a self-development and we have the capacity to know the importance of symbolic language. With symbolic language, you can accelerate your evolution. But the shift of consciousness that you do inside of you is very powerful, because the more you study symbols, the more you enter in things, the more you enter in people, in situations. And you see the other part of the decor. You see the other side of the medal. And the more we become spiritual, the more we become sensitive. And knowledge with sensitivity is very, very intense at the beginning, because we can have a lot of discrepancies. We can have 1 foot in the new life and 1 foot in the ancient life. And we get stuck there. And because we don't have enough courage to really, manifest and affirm ourselves, change ourselves, or we don't have enough discipline in us. So we have ups and downs and ups and downs and ups and downs, until things are going very bad. You have an ordeal or something is happening in your life, then you start to pray. So many people are praying, and when it's not going well. When it's going well, then they don't pray. They just live the sensations of life until they get saturated and until they get bored, because when you do something, then, okay, it's like you go to vacation. The first 2 weeks are great. But if you stay there 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, then you know the shops, then you know everything around, and you feel like you want to come back. Many people are not living enough through the qualities. If you develop the qualities, then everything you do, even the small things, will be amazing and beautiful and absolutely wonderful. I have some great moments. Uh, Christiane and I, every time we have our missions that are amazing around the world, and every time we have some free time, we are with our granddaughter Asia, or our granddaughter Lucy. Also, when we can see her, she was with her at the summer camp in Switzerland. It was amazing to have both of our grandchildren together. So, and when I am with them, and when I am with Asia, I watch her, and it's so amazing because a baby tends to repeat things, you know. When she's entering in our apartment, first thing she does, it's almost like a ritual. She goes there, there, there. You can observe her, and then she's always happy, always, and then because she's repeating an experience and she's reactivating the memories of what she has done, she makes connection. And through this connection, she always going deeper and deeper, and eventually she add another experience. You know, I brought her to the park. We do this often with her. We have a park here in Canada, in Saint Agathe, just near the lake. It's a very quiet place. It's very beautiful for children also. So we go there, and then she was playing in the different, and she's always doing the same thing. And then you can begin to start to see her doing a little more and a little more and a little more progressively. But she starts all the time with what she knows. That's interesting, you know. But from one life to another, it is the same thing for all of us. We always, live things, and then we advance progressively, and we add, and our memories from past lives are also brought to the surface progressively and progressively. And then eventually, of course, we start to learn new things. But when we start to learn new things, we always have a step in the past and a step in the new things. And then we do a few steps. And then we come back, and then we move like this, And this is how we learn. The process of learning is absolutely wonderful to watch with a baby, because you see the simple codes and the repetitions also of codes. And that's why it's very important for us to understand that every little things we do, we need to do this with love and wisdom. We need to learn to go deep. Because eventually, of course, some things that can be absolutely beautiful can create an effect where you can be with children, for example. They are wonderful, they're beautiful, and you can get bored by them. Because you lose the essence of life. But when we are spiritual, and when we study in depth, everything has a profound meaning. I see Asia, she's 16 months now, and I see her in everything she does. I know this is a code that will be there when she's going to grow up. And I've seen her, it's very interesting, because if we say no to her, then she starts to do this to her. So then we need to repeat to her, don't be too tough, don't do that. Be nice with yourself. It's okay to receive a no. So we need to teach her, because already we can see that she's really reacting when she has a no, But this is not coming from this life. This is coming from her past life. Because you cannot have this, as an essence that it's, we don't do this, ourselves. So it's coming from her. And we can see her experiences, and we can see, and we help her, to really develop, because she has a lot of beautiful discipline. So it's very profound the way she look at people, at things. She's, observing, it's like really scanning. It's quite amazing and quite interesting, you know. So last night we were just watching a little bit of the news for, she, and then I was sitting with her, and then she just came with me to watch the news. And then she was there and I was observing her, for 5, 10 minutes. She was so concentrated, and, she didn't understand what was happening, but she was catching certain things. Then she saw a dog in the news. There was a dog. Then she said, "Oh, Grandpa, look, there's a dog." And then she's kind of, wow, she made it connection, and then forms, colors, etc. She was starting, and then she sees things, and then the more she will grow, the more she will go deeper. So can we go deeper when we are an adult? Can we continue to evolve? Yes. But we need to enter with our intelligence in the emotional intelligence. We need to understand the code of our intelligence, the code of every moves we do. We need to understand the multi-dimensions of our memories when they manifest, from memories to manifestation. We need to understand the links of that. The thoughts the same, the emotions the same. Behaviors comes first from emotion, thoughts, and memories. And one day we understand this. We can even see in dreams some problems. And this is what we're going to do with the first dream we will analyze today. You will see. This is quite interesting. And I know it is a subject also that will probably resonate with certain people. Or maybe you have someone in your entourage that has problems with hairs, the loss of hairs. So, and you will see through a dream, we can understand why this woman has problems and with her hair, because she's losing her hair for real. And in dreams, it is explained. We can understand and see the memories that have created this problem in her body. But do we need to have a sickness or illness or problems or any form of difficulties in the couple and this and that? Can we anticipate that? Can we learn how to behave well, how to solve situations with spirituality instead of just reading books and things like that? Is it possible we can learn to communicate with God, with the universe, and we can receive real answers? Yes. Yes, it's possible. I live like that. It's amazing to understand. I can have situations that I go through, and I have seen this in dreams sometimes 10 years ago. Imagine, 10 years ago. And now the situation is happening. And sometimes you need to act like you don't know. You need to act like you don't know because you need to respect destiny. You need to respect the life programs of all beings. This is another way of living when we receive dreams. At the beginning, dreams are to visit ourselves. We have nightmares. We see things about ourselves, the memories. We are only mostly in our inner computer. But with time, we receive dreams about others. And we see things. We can help them. We can heal them. We can just understand what is going to happen, why it is happening. For me, this is so natural. This is my life. I receive so many dreams every night, and I see life before it is manifested. Symbolic language is the essence, the architecture of our life programs. And we are here on earth, as I always say, for one reason, only to develop qualities and to become a better person. So let's start with this first dream that we will study together, the origin of hair loss. I am at the bottom of the stairs in the backyard with my paternal grandparents. Their negative tendency not to show their emotions, their love, they have pain in the memories, etc. With my sister-in-law, and her negative, sometimes critical and judgmental, may have inferiority, superiority dynamics. I'm thinking of raising my hair up in a bun to look more mature. I'm trying to get a bun, but my hair always comes off. I am now in my grandparents' room. In the dream, there is this notion that they are no longer there, as if they had died. In concrete world, they are both deceased. And I'm talking to my sister on the phone. I noticed that on the right, where I have a halo scalp ring, there is a second ring. I'm missing a lot of hair. I am worried. And tell my sister that her negative is tendency to avoid the negative, trivializes for fear of facing conflict or negative situation, lack of self-confidence. She tells me that I worry about nothing. She doesn't believe me. I'm rejoining my father, and on the positive, logical mind that studies the problem to solve and find the cause, good listener when we share our difficulties with him. So I'm rejoining my father in the dining room. He is sitting at a table, and I ask him if he can inspect the skin where I lack hair, because it hurts me. It's harder, as if it was burned. He tells me it's red. My other sister, and a negative tendency to dramatize, to amplify situation, is in the room and looks surprised to see that it is real. She tells me she's going to get a booklet on the subject to help me. I ask her why she didn't show it to me before. I understand that she didn't believe me. The room is transformed, and I now find myself in an atmosphere of soft, white, diffuse light in front of a medical specialist. She has the beautiful energy of a guide because of the positive atmosphere. I put it positive. She tells me that I have to go to a dermatologist because I definitely lack vitamins from the yellow group and the B vitamin series. Vitamin B helps to maintain the vitality of the skin, of the immune and nervous systems, contributes to cell and blood cell renewal. I would like to write down the information to remember it. I only find a photo paper to write down my notes. The specialist advised me to take one of the 4 copies of my medical file that is on the reception desk. I'm surprised. I didn't think they had so much information about my health. The receptionist took all the documents out of their envelopes. I choose to keep the envelopes because there are passwords for me written on them. There's a lot of information, very interesting information in this dream for this person. And we will see. Sometimes we have a problem, but there are memories and forces in us that creates the non-possibility to solve them really. The human consciousness is absolutely amazing. The unconscious forces in us are the memories, and the tip of the iceberg is who you are, your personality. But who you truly are, it is in the memories, in the unconscious aspects of yourself. And in dreams, we see the seeds, we see the keys of the problems. And this is the case here. We will study that together. I am at the bottom of the stairs in the backyard with my paternal grandparents. So, you see, the fact that we are at the bottom of the stairs, it is like the notions of having this, the memories, the dreams explains that this is touching down to earth situation, because you're not up in the stairs. So you have aspects of yours that are in connection with, aspects that are down to earth. And this is related to your life experience, earth experience. You're not in the water, which is emotions. You're not in a plane that touches the world of air, of thoughts. You are on earth. So this is something that touches your concrete realities. But at the same time, what is interesting is there's a stairs. How come it is there? How come? And the backyard, it could be the front of the apartment or house. It is in the backyard. The backyard can be positive. Yes, of course. It's a place where we can be with our friends. It's a social environment where we can do gardening, we can rest, we can do things. We are outside, but it's still, in connection with the house where we live or the apartment where we live. So you have this notions of being in the backyard. So it's kind of related to your social life, but also your social intimacy. And then the paternal grandparents are there. So, and they represent for you a tendency not to show their emotions. So you see the backyard becomes negative. And what is a negative backyard? You are shy. So you don't show yourself. You're not at the front of the house. You are in the backyard. So socially speaking, you tend to interiorize. You tend to repress your personality. You tend not to want to manifest sometimes. You have this in you, and this is touching your grandparents. So it's touching your ancestors' memories. So it is touching your ancient personalities from past life. And it touches also your paternal grandparents, not maternal. Paternal means action, and maternal means inner world. So it touches your masculine polarity, your masculine energy, the father. Grandparents positively are there to protect us normally. When they are very good, they do the extra work of the parents. They can support, they can help. If they, if the children they have, they need money, grandparents can be there to help, to support in many, many ways, with their presence, with their wisdom, with their experience. When there's a beautiful connection with grandparents, it's amazing what they can bring in our life. And when they are also good people and not just people that are selfish and just thinking about playing or taking time for themselves, like they become children again sometimes, And the grandparents of our generations, especially in countries where there's a lot of things, a lot of possibilities, and so the grandparents, the elders, are sometimes just doing activities for themselves, and they lose the balance. It's okay to have activities, of course, it's quite normal. But when you neglect your family, you neglect your presence with your grandchildren or children, or you're not there when they need you, or so of course it creates a life of more superficialities. But when we are an elder and we have a superficial life, and we are a lot in matter and etc., it's because we have missed this. We have been working a lot with duties. It was not done with love, etc. So when we become retired, then suddenly we just live a life that is always based on a manifestation. So here it is the negative aspects of your grandparents that you describe. And they have a tendency not to show their emotions. You see, you are in the backyard. So you have this in you for a long, long time. You keep everything inside. You're a very intense person inside. You know that. Very, very intense. And outside, no one sees it. Outside, you look like, the kind young woman, and you always seems to master everything. You have even this energy in you where you have a kind of facade versus what you can perceive inside. You can always look like you are mastering things, that everything, there's no problem for you. You can have this form of mask that you have created because you have a tendency not to show your emotions. And these memories comes from past life. And where in the world we have difficulties to show our emotions, to really express them, it is in the Eastern countries. We see this in Asia a little bit more than we see, here. Of course, now the world tends to become the same. It's quite, there's a lot of exchange, and we start to see this, similarities. There are similarities, yes. But generally speaking, if we look at elders, if we look at not the youth, which is more and more too much sometimes on extra exteriorization. So, but if we look at elders, if you look at the way that we see more difficulties in Asia to express emotions, and in certain countries they express too much. But generally this is a part. So you can even know that you have memories, because you come from America. And you were born here, and you're not Asians. In your origin of this biological life, but in your genes and in your memories from past life, of course, you have this. It's really when we know you, and Christian and I, we know you, so your personality is more Asian type than Westerner type. You're interiorized. You're really a person that has a lot of things happening inside. And of course, I'm not saying that keeping emotions inside can be only negative, because we don't need necessarily to show to everybody, of course. But when it is not going well, then it can create difficulties to express ourselves, communicate, etc., etc. And we tend to repress things inside. So, because of course, Asian people, some of them are totally balanced and beautiful and great. They have not necessarily this problem, but when they have, it's a tendency that we can see that is more present in Asia. And the beautiful things of this is the great interiorization, of course, But the negative aspects can be a difficulty to express emotions. So you see backyard, you see the notions, all the symbols, and this is all related to the air loss. You will see. I'm just starting now. We will connect everything. You will see the backyard, intense social life, interiorized, and your of your paternal grandparents, and they represents for you, the tendency not to show their emotions. So you stay in the backyard. You don't want to see too many people. It's difficult for you to be very social, to open, etc. You're quite interiorized as a person, and this has created intensity. And if you don't deal well with your emotions, then it creates stress. Then it creates also a lot of energy, a lot of intensity. and losing our hair. You follow me? We go progressively. Let's continue now. With my sister-in-law, she's there also. And her negative, sometimes critical and judgmental, may have inferiority and superiority dynamics. This is you. This is your dream. You are the sister. You are the grandparents in this dream. We're not talking about them. We're talking about aspects of your characters. So you are like that. You are in the backyard. You are very interiorized, difficulty to communicate your emotions, and you critic. But you don't say your critics. You keep it inside. You hide them in the backyard. You keep it for yourself. You don't show it to others. So you have a lot of intensity in you, a lot of emotions, and you tend to keep your critics inside. You have judgmental ways sometimes, and you don't say them. You keep them inside. This creates extra intensity. Extra intensity, too much energy inside, not enough exteriorization, then the loss of hair can happen because it's related to an interiorized form of masculine polarity. As a man and woman, this is very important in symbolic language. We have both polarities. We have the masculine and the feminine. As a man, I have feminine energy inside, masculine in manifestation. If you are a woman, you have a masculine inside, feminine in manifestation. So your masculine is supposed to emanate, because masculine energy is emanation, it is exteriorization. But what is happening? You keep everything inside. Your personality is formed like this. You keep inside. You keep inside things. You look always okay, And inside, you keep inside, and you're very intelligent. You're a smart person. I know you're so bright. But you have emotions that you don't show. You keep inside, and you judge, you critic sometimes. So this creates a masculine energy that is repressed. Your masculine energy, your affirmation is repressed. I'm not saying you need to critic openly and start to critic everybody, and then show your emotions and then, but not in a good way. No. But you need to learn to, because you are a very secret person. You know that. Very, very secret. Not a lot of people enters in you. The backyard, emotions that are repressed, and it's the paternal grandparents. So it emphasizes this, because you have been like that for a long time. It's not the first life you are like that. But now it's creating problems because it's too much. You have done this over maybe many lives, kept inside everything. Then your body starts to react. And what is a masculine energy? A masculine energy is an energy of emissivity, feminine receptivity, masculine emissivity. So, if you keep everything inside and you don't talk, emotionally you don't emanate. First chakras also you keep inside, locked up, You don't talk, you don't say anything, okay? Throat chakra, took. Then the third eye, you don't want anything to be seen by others, so you hide. So where do you think this masculine, negative, repressed emotions and critics, etc., will get out? Yes, you understand. The seventh chakra, the spiritual chakra, and you're very spiritual also. So energy that are negative cannot go in your eyes, cannot go in your, because you're a polite person, you're an intelligent person, you're very delicate, you have amazing qualities, but you keep everything inside. You have locked up many of your chakras, first chakra, second chakra, third chakra, and you see, we will talk about the third chakra, yellow. The color yellow is mentioned at the end of your dream, you know. And what is yellow? Is also emanation, confidence in ourselves, self-esteem, capacity to shine like a sun. You have difficulties with that. So you keep everything inside, everything, then it goes up. And it's too intense, too much masculine energy, then poof, the airs, reacts. The body reject the air because you have too much pressure inside yourself that you have kept over many lives. So I'm thinking of raising my air up. You see, you want to raise your head up to look more mature. Again, the facade, you want to look mature, more mature. Because you should do it. It's okay to do a bun. There's nothing wrong with that. It's very beautiful for a woman when you have long hair to do that. It's very beautiful. There's nothing wrong. But for you, you need to do it to look more important, more mature, because you have lack of self-esteem. So you go up, up. Even the airs will go up. But again, I'm trying to get a bun, but my air always comes off. You see, you cannot be mature. The reason for that is you have lack of self-esteem, lack of confidence in yourself in a huge way. Big, big, big way. You don't see yourself, and you play the mature person. You're so good at that. You don't know that. I'm sure you don't know that you look so mature for your age. I'm telling you. Talk to anybody around you. Ask them, how do you see me? They will say, wow, very intelligent. You're very mature for your age. You don't look your age, and we feel that you have a lot of knowledge in you. Of course, you're very interiorized. You have developed this strength, this quality, which is a lot of intelligence. When you don't, because you're not always critical, of course, you're not always repressing totally, but it's a natural form of you. It's part of your fundamental personality. And you need to deprogram that. You don't need to raise your hair to look more mature. You raise your hair because you are, not because you want to please others and play a role of what you are not. You need to become that. You need to believe that you are mature, because you are. You have so much great qualities in you. You don't have only that. I know you. You're and you're so good in symbolic language. You're so advanced. You're one of our top students. So you don't even understand that this knowledge is so precious, and that I don't want to create a complex of superiority with you with that, of course, but there's not a lot of people on the planet right now, on the entire planet, that are experts in symbolic language at the level that you are. So of course you need to recognize yourself and not do this just to think you're better than others. That's not what I want to say. I just want to tell you that you are already mature. You are so spiritual also, and balanced, etc. We can go in your apartment, everything is clean, your life is in order in general, and you always think and meditate, try to improve yourself, but you still have this in you. You still have sometimes your intelligence can shift, and you can critic, and you keep this silent in you. Like in Asia, I can see some Asian women right now smiling and men smiling right now, keeping everything inside. Don't show your emotions. Show that to everybody you're perfect, that you're mature, that you're intelligent, and etc. So I'm thinking of, okay, so now we talked about that. Let's continue. I am now in my grandparents' room. So you will see the first scene is in connection with the second one. Totally. It's the same dream. It's an equation of consciousness. So you are in the backyard, you repress, you love, you repress, and you tend to critics to have complex of superiority, inferiority. Sometimes you think you're amazing and others are not. Sometimes you feel diminished and you go like this inside of you and no one is saying anything. Okay? And then you want to show off and, that you're mature, but you're not even capable of playing the role. So, because you could have been able to do the bun and to walk like this, but you're not capable of doing that. Why? Next scene, we'll explain it. I am in my grandparents' room. The room is an intimacy. Everything is a symbol, I explained. Grandparents again. The grandparents is related to your ancient life, ancestors, where you come from. And in the dream, there's notion that they are no longer there. Okay, so you see, this is you. This is the continuation of you. You have the influence of your past life in your life of today. And I'm talking to my sister on the phone. Communication, okay. Sister, two-person, relationship with others, feminine energy. You talk with yourself. It is your inner sister. You don't talk to your sister in this dream. Really, you talk to yourself. You visit yourself. You communicate with another part of your neurons, another part of you. And I noticed that on the right is the masculine energy. Left, feminine, inside, right, action. Where I have a hello scalp ring. So you have it on the right. Symbolically, the universe wants to tell you this is caused by your masculine energy that has been repressed over a long, long period of time. And I have a halo scalp ring. There is a second ring, not just one, two. The problem of your loss of hair comes from problems with relationship. Two. You have two halo. And why? Because backyard. Okay, social life that is repressed, emotions that are repressed, critics that are repressed, and experience inside only, and inferiority, superiority complex. So great masculine intensity inside that no one sees, that wants to get out, that wants to get out. I'm missing a lot of hair. Yes, because of your too much masculine energy, etc. repressed. I am worried and tell my sister. And her negative is tendency to avoid the negative. You see, the superiority, inferiority, the critics, it's not you. It's not your fault. It's a fault of someone. It's a fault of the shampoo. It's a fault of, this or that person. Or my father because he was tough with me when I was young. So, tendency to avoid the negative trivializes so for fear of facing conflict or negative situation. Again, you have even more confirmation about the repressed emotions that you have from your grandparents, symbolically speaking, parts of you from your ancient life that you have brought here through ancestor symbols. And it is explained in more details here why you have loss of hair. Because you trivialize for fear of facing conflict or negative situation, lack of self-confidence, lack of, emanation, expression of ourselves, again and again, explain the masculine polarity that is not properly balanced in you. Because when we are a woman, we need a good masculine energy for affirmation, for justice, for, wisdom, lots of things, action, energy, because too much feminine energy is not good. Too much masculine is not good also. And then she tells me that I worry about nothing. You see, you have a force that your sister represents, trivialized for fear of facing conflict or negative situation, worrying so much in you. You have this in you, and simultaneously your facade says, no, 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 no. Everything is okay. You're making this up. This is you. This is your facade that you have built over many lives, your Asian mask. And then this external personality is talking inside and said, no, 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 everything is okay. Everything is okay. No emotions. Lock this up in the basement. Everything is okay. And again, I'm not saying that Asian people don't have the capacity to express their emotions. Some of them are balanced, beautiful. One day we become universal. We become the qualities of all the countries. And, so I have a lot of Asian energies in me. I can tell you that. And all my family. So she tells me that I worry about nothing. And she doesn't believe me. You see, you don't believe yourself. It's not your sister. It's you. It's the qualities or the weaknesses that she represents. And right now, you express her as a negative symbol because she was probably saying things to you toughly or whatever. So then you know symbolic language, you do this training, you do the DSSI training. So you knew it was because when the person doesn't act the right way in the dream, automatically we need to know to say, okay, what is the negative of this person? Because I'm sure your sister has a lot of qualities. In other dreams, you can see her positively, and she might present herself and say, okay, my sister was so good in the dream, so nice, her qualities equal that. So then it is the qualities. But here it's the negative. So you see how extraordinary it is. We can take a real problem, a real physical problem that she has because she's losing her hair and she's worrying about that. It's true, for real. And now she's having the exact formula for her to stop that. It is an accumulation of memories that are explained in details in our dream. Let's continue. I'm rejoining my father. So you see, this is interesting. Grandparents, memories at the beginning, scenario, tuck, backyard, repressed emotions, repressed critics, inferiority, superiority complex with the sister. That's the portrait. The scene after, I'm missing a lot of hair, and you talk to your sister, and you have more information about why you lost your hair. The true halo relationship with others. You worry so much with you. You keep a facade. Inside, you always want to please everybody. And also you say, no, no, everything is okay. So you repress and repress and repress. And you look always okay. You always look perfect. You have really this, form of capacity that you have developed with time. I am sure when you are probably alone and you may, show yourself differently, but socially speaking, when we see yourself outside, you are like that. It's like I've been knowing you for, I don't know, maybe 5, 7, 8 years. I don't remember exactly. And you're the same person. I know through your dreams because we study your dream journal. We help you, with the symbols and everything. It's amazing the work that you have done. But without the dream journal, I would not know you. Unless I visit you in dreams, of course. Because you look always perfect. We don't know. You don't look like a person with problems. You don't look like a person with problems. You always nice, you always dress nice. You always comb your hair. You always, everything. You take care of yourself so well, which is good. Continue to do that. There's nothing wrong with that. But you look perfect. You look always perfect. And I'm telling you, everybody that you meet at first, if they don't see your dreams, if you don't open to themselves, you could. But if you don't, they will always say, you have the perfect life. You are so happy. You look amazing. You see, we see this so often in the ordinary world where people are not working deeply enough. They just give compliments through the facade. You can give a compliment to your neighbor because he has a car, he has a good job, he has 3 children. There are people like that. That happened for real. They were having a neighbor for 15 years. And the neighbor was taking care of the garden. He was the perfect man. And then suddenly, he killed his wife and the 3 children. And you say, I didn't see that coming. He was the perfect guy. It was the perfect family. We see the same thing sometimes in couples, that have a strong facade. And you say, they are separated. They just got separated. Oh, wow, I thought it was the perfect couple. There are people that they are very good to present a mask. And even therapists sometimes are very good to show off a mask and to say that, oh yes, we are having such a beautiful spiritual relationship. It is so beautiful. We are so advanced now. I'm living in the, oh my God. I've heard so many therapists playing the game. Because when they feel good, it's true they feel good. It's like they just talk about that moment. But they are more in the, like airy. They are not connecting. They just like in a fairy tale. But in the realities, when you close the door, of the room, then the dog's conversation starts. In dreams, we see a lot of things. Yes. And when we know people also, because we have studied the metaphysics versus the physics, etc., etc. So we make parallels, we make connections. For me, if I see one thing happening, I know it means something in the big picture also. For example, I teach that. Let's say you meet a guy and he looks awesome. awesome, you know, and what a terminology, you know, awesome. This word is so awkward. It's such a negative word to say something is beautiful, and you say, you know, there are people that repeat that all the time. Oh, you're awesome. You're awesome. Oh, that's awesome. It's awesome. It's the opposite of it's great, you know. You don't know it's what it means. Analyze the word. Just get a dictionary. So, but you see, sometimes we are so, when we pronounce a name like that, and we stick this to something that looks great, it's because it's superficial. And our soul knows it. When we do this and say awesome, awesome, it's because you don't care. You don't care. I remember, let me share something with you. I was in Los Angeles about 20 years ago, 18, 20 years ago. I was at, when I shift, you know, from walking away from fame and glory, I had a request to work on a song for Celine Dion for her next album. And there was one of the songs that I did, and they were quite interested, and even Whitney Houston at the time was interested in this song. So, so, but my publisher in New York said, okay, we love the song. The meetings has been done with the record companies and record, you know, people. They really like the song. You have a chance that this song will be on their album. So he said, but I would like you to work with this author, you know, because I would like to change. We think certain words could be changed. You know, it's okay for me. It was a great song, and I knew it was a good song, and I was happy, you know, to collaborate. So I went to Los Angeles in the studio, and it's interesting. I'm telling you, I cannot even name the person because the person is too famous, you know. Even the author that I was working with, he is very, very known. He was also a famous singer with millions and millions of records sold. And he has written many hits, you know. Anyway, and we were working in studio because we needed someone that sings like Celine Dion, you know. So because the song was a tough song to sing, it was a lot of range, you know, for the voice. And so he knew certain people and he knew certain friends, and he asked for a singer. And this singer was like a young singer with a very important record deal, about to make, you know, about to become famous. Potentially, because she was not at that time. She was really known in Los Angeles, but she was doing, some work with many producers and authors and composers, etc. And now this person, I cannot name the singer because she's the number one on the planet. She's the number one on the planet. And I've worked with her for 3-4 days in the studio. But she's not a good singer. She looks great. Yes, she's beautiful physically. Yes, stereotype. But she doesn't sing well. And she didn't have the voice of Celine Dion. And I had this guy with me working, this collaborator, and we were working in the studio together. And then he was saying every 2 seconds, you're awesome, let's start again. Let's do the line again. We needed to do the song line by line because she didn't have enough voice. And we need to fake the voice. It was awful. It was really not, she was not singing well, you know. And then today we have machines. So if the pitch is not right, you can twist it a little bit, and the person, the singer, can sing right. But it is the machine that is doing touch-ups. And I don't come from that school. I come from a classical background. So I've studied classical music for 20 years. So I'm not from the time of touching with the machines. I'm from the old school, but the right old school where you need talent to do something. Anyway, not just to look good. So, and then all the time. And then at a point, I said, I said to this collaborator, I said, come on, come, I need to talk to you. I went outside. I think it's first time of my life. I just said to him, stop the crap. Stop it. This is enough. You are lying every 2 seconds to her. She's not a good singer. She doesn't fit well for this song. She's good for dance music song, things like that, and to dance and to look good, but she's not good for this type of song. It is a song for the type of Celine Dion with, a range, where you can sing. So, and then eventually I needed to really, and I called the office in New York, and I said, this is enough, this is enough. This, he wants to work with her because she looks good and because he might work with her on her next album. He's a new artist, he's just trying to play too many cards at the same time. We have one good song to do and we don't have the right singer to do it. So eventually, of course, it didn't work. It didn't work, but we worked for 4 days knowing it was not working. And I am a musician of experience. I knew it was not possible. But he was trying and trying and trying. And I said to him, it's not good for her also. With time, she will see that you're just giving compliments on top of compliments. You're boosting the ego, and nothing is happening. It creates an illusion. Anyway, I could talk about this story for a long time because this was quite an experience, and anyway, so so after that, it was kind of, the superficial aspects, was kind of okay. I have my dose now. I need to go in meditation, and this was one of the last, official job I think I did, after that. Anyway, so of course I'm not saying that the music world is always, it's amazing. There's the plus and the minus in every work, So of course you can live any form of work, and if you do this well, you can do great things and beautiful things and stay in the qualities. But in the arts and in the music business, you better be strong because there's a lot of illusions and a lot of egos in this world. Anyway, so okay, let's continue. So she tells me that I worry about nothing and she doesn't believe me. So you see, she's having a game, She knows, inside something is not wrong, but she has two forces in her. You have one force that say, oh, I think it's like that. And the others, no, you're not right. This is not there. Don't forget about that. It doesn't exist, So imagine how you even have aspects where you repress to see the realities of yourself. You see how complex the human mind can be sometimes, and the unconscious. So I'm rejoining my father, and this is positive for her. Logical mind. You see, because that's where you see the qualities in you. Because your sister is putting you down, and then, all right, then you find a bit of logic after. Like any person will do this process, will make this process sometimes, and then you say, oh no, I shouldn't do that. Oh no, but I'm capable. Yeah, maybe I'm capable, Then you find a little bit of self-esteem and of potentialities. So that's what happened here. And in the dining room. In the dining room means that when it's time to eat, when you have no choice, survival energies in you, when it's time to eat, the dining room means symbolically that. Then, okay, I need to nourish. I'm losing my air, I need to get something now, you see? He is sitting at a table. Table is capacity to share. It is your masculine energy, the father, action, also real action. So you see, interiorly, you have your sister that is putting you down. And outside, you have the logic of thinking the right way. So sometimes you repress the logic. Your sister is telling you you're not right. Sometimes your father is telling you it's okay. Shung, 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 shing, shing, shung, shung. So he is sitting at a table, and I ask him if he can inspect the skin where I lack hair because it hurts me. It's harder, as if it was burned. He tells me it's red. So you see, the lack of maturity of the beginning. Also, she needs to come back as she needs a father. It's not her husband or boyfriend that is there now. It's the father. So, but the right thing is, as a child, she is capable of rebuilding. Even in this scene, we can see the good part of her that eventually will grow and can eventually transcend everything we have seen before. And it tells me it's red. And red is related to too much intensity. Too much intensity. And the more we become spiritual, the more we are interiorized, and we have also metaphysical dimension open. When we are in initiations, we need to be very careful about that. Even myself, I feel good, I feel great. Of course, I've worked on myself a lot. But if I don't sleep enough because I've been, waking up, because I receive a lot of dreams, so sometimes I have a lot of work to do during the night. And if I have a lot of occupation during the day, which is quite normal also, but let's say I don't sleep enough hours, eventually I start to feel fire in me. Fire. It's very powerful. I start to see fire, feel fire in me. And when I start to feel that, it's like you go to sleep and you're is quite wonderful now. I'm so happy. I'm so happy to work, to do things. And the collective dimension, the collective mission in me is so powerful. Then it's like, wow, I'm always happy. Always happy to serve the universe. So, but I need also to to calm down sometimes and interiorize to sleep well and to meditate, But the more our collective dimension is powerful, it is true that the body also needs to adapt to that. And it is a process. So all right. So my other sister and tendency to dramatize, to amplify, you see, the father brings, okay, all right, let me check that. And you have the logic to go and to verify and to take care of yourself because the father is taking care of yourself. And then you find it's red, then whoo, the other sister arrives in your energy. Then you become to dramatize. It's you. Next scene is dramatization. You amplify. And you see, you have another sister in you that says, no, there's nothing. And then you have another one that, whoa, too much. And you know what? That's why you have these two sisters. This is you also. You have been put in this family to help you. And you have been put for them in this family. So through you, they are also evolving in their own way. So, is in the room and looks surprised to see that it is real. She tells me she's going to get a booklet on the subject to help me, etc. So now let's take an intermission because I see we have. I've been not seeing the time. So let's take our intermission now, and then we come back to complete our profound interpretation. Another aspect that I just shared with Christiane, and she asked me certain questions that are very interesting to develop. She was mentioning my father, the father of Christiane. He has no hair, for a long time, or like every often we can see this with men that they become bald. And she said, he doesn't have the personality of this young woman. So this is interesting. Let me explain this to you. What can cause the loss of hair? There are two types of possibilities. But they all come from the same source, too much masculine energy. But the father of Christian, who is a man of, he has a great intelligence, he knows a lot of things, etc. But he's very intense, very, very intense personality. We always say that Christian was Harry Potter, He's never been violent with her or anything like that, of course, but he is very intense. He was quite challenging about that. So, of course, he has too much masculine energy, and the masculine energy can travel in different ways. Men sometimes they can become bald. With this notions that the emissivity can do like and then so this is too strong. Eventually you lose your hair. But your emissivity, the masculine energy in woman, is manifest often differently because you're a woman. So you can be emissive, a woman can be emissive, but will never be emissive like a man. But it will be like, oh, and at the same time, oh, 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 oh. You see these notions of, I cannot do both sound at the same time. To really explain this emissive energy with the frequencies we can have, it is like simultaneously exteriorization and we restrain it at the same time. So, and some men can be like that also. Those who are very, very emissive and they just destroy everybody, because they are kings of the kings, and they are quite intense, like Roger, the father of Christian. He's the king of the king, very intense one. And an ancient pharaoh for sure. and in this life he needed to come back in a shop store, fruit stores, and to rebalance his energy. So but you see, this is different forms of emissivity, different forms. But too much emissivity will it's too much. You burn your head, you burn everybody at the same time. But the other aspects is even man can be very emissive because they bring the energy in their 7th chakra, like her, you see. She wanted to do the bond and it was not holding. She didn't even have enough self-esteem to, but there are people, they have too much self-esteem. And then it goes in the brain because they need to be superior. So their energy is not balanced. Then they can have weight problems, etc., etc. They can unbalance themselves with time, especially when they become older. So remember, 2 forms of emissivity can create this, and normally in women it will be the feminine polarity will always try to restrain the masculine, the too much. So even if too much is very too much, the feminine will try to play a role to keep the balance. And this is more like the type of situation that can happen to a woman when they lose their hair, versus to a man that he will give too much intensity, too much importance also in manifestations, exteriorization. A woman also can be like that, of course, but the energy will tend to work and manifest differently, because when a man doesn't have any feminine energy enough, it's like there's no filter. It's like the energy is not thought profoundly, there's no sensitivity, not enough love, etc. So it will just go outside. But there are men that they are very sensitive. I see one in my head right now, in my mind right now, and that he has lost his hair also. He's very, very sensitive. But this man is always like, you know, if he's sitting in front of people, he always like, you know, he's very gentle, but he always open his legs, you know. Sometimes I wish he could be more open and I could say, you should not sit like that, you know. You're like, you know, you want to show your penis to everybody, you know. He's very refined person, always dressed well. He's not like the man with the big, you know, thing here and the medallion or things like that. But he is like very, you know, very gorilla a little bit, you know, too much in terms of, you know, of feeling so important in what he knows, and in also he's so good in business, and sometimes it's like it has brought an ego in him, an ego problem. So let's complete this interpretation here. So to continue the situation for her. So now, okay, other sister. So we have one sister, like I mentioned, that she doesn't want to see. It's not true. And the other one is dramatizing. And she's in the room and looks surprised to see that is real. She tells me she's going to get a booklet on the subject to help me. So you see the dramatization sometimes, you know, when it becomes a fear for you, then it will lead you to try to find knowledge, you know. So, but you are driven by problems to find the knowledge. And that's the case of many, many people. We wait that we have a problem before we start to interiorize, because knowledge is also a symbol of developing your feminine energy. The feminine energy in men and women are related to receptivity, learning. So to get a booklet on the subject to help me, I asked her why she didn't show it to me before. I understand that she didn't believe me. You see, again, even if you dramatize, the two sisters don't believe her. So it's like you have part of you have so much, you know, lack of confidence that you don't believe yourself. Even when you have a problem, you avoid to know that you have a problem. And the room is transformed now. Okay, that's interesting. The booklet, the knowledge, brings you to another scene. And then you see yourself in a soft, wide, diffuse light. That's your spirituality. You have a great potential. You have a medical specialist in your energy, in you. And she has the beautiful energy of a guide, you know, because of the positive atmosphere. So you have a beautiful capacity to reach knowledge. She tells me that I have to go to a dermatologist. So a problem with skin. Skin is related to the sensitivity, because I definitely lack vitamins from the yellow group. She's only this spiritual guide dressed as a doctor in this dream is giving you the recipe to heal your hair loss. So it will stop. She's giving you the medication, what you need to change inside you. You need more vitamin, more strength in your confidence. You need to work on your confidence. And then vitamin B is mentioned. So it helps to maintain the vitality of the skin, of the immune and nervous systems, contributes to cell and blood cell renewal. You need to be able to renew yourself, because you're always stuck with the critic. You're always stuck with the same thing and you don't believe anything else than this. And you get stuck sometimes in the movement of evolution, of change. And you are so sensitive also, so that you keep everything inside, and you keep everything in it, and you look perfect. You look with the mask, everything is perfect. You know, even sometimes you look like a Barbie, you know, oh. And inside it's like, sometimes. Knowledge will help you to transform that, because one day we don't judge, we don't critique. But judging, criticizing creates a lot of suffering inside, because we are not happy, we don't like this person, this, that, and we can create conflicts or long conversation, you know, about things, or we don't talk at all, etc. And you can even check vitamin B. With a dream like that, I would go to make a check with a doctor to make sure what is my vitamin B, because this might be not just symbolic. It can even be like, just increase vitamin B in your meals or just take some supplement, and this will help you simultaneously. But the yellow in you, your third chakra, your solar plexus, if it's not open, you destroy yourself. We cannot live without the solar plexus, living, emanating the right way. You can destroy. This is a force. Did you know how many neurons we have there? This is our second brain. There's so much forces in this place. It is your memories you need to cleanse. That's why you have this. It's like fibromyalgia, you have pain, so it's not just the vitamin B. This is just what the body maybe needs. But inside, you need to change your memories, your concepts, the memories of what this dream is saying. You have every aspects of the hair loss problem in this dream. This dream, this analysis, and I think I'm going to make this public, this webinar public, because anyone that can have hair loss problems should watch this webinar, because there will be parallels with their own personal problems. I would like to write down the information to remember it. Look at this. This is quite interesting at the end of this dream, and it's very important. I would like to write down the information to remember it. If I only find a photo, the mask, just this. She cannot write profoundly. She has what she needs to work on herself, and she's not capable. She's too much based on the superficial aspect, the facade. She doesn't go inside enough related to building her confidence. She follows all the time. So a photo paper to write down my notes. You see, the photo, what people will see, this is so important. The specialist advised me to take one of the 4 copies of my medical file that is on the reception desk. 4 copies. 4 is the square, symbolically the structure, And I'm surprised. I didn't think that they had so much information about my health. So you see, again, you're like one of your sister. You don't believe. It's like, oh, wow, okay, This is you also. You have a lot of knowledge about yourself. This is you. You are the medical specialist. You have this in you. You know somewhere inside. You know you need to work on the yellow. You need to work on your sensitivity. And then the receptionist took all the documents out of their envelopes. I choose to keep the envelopes because there are passwords for me written on them. What is the meaning of that? The mask. You are so afraid. You're the type of person that will sit with a therapist to receive help, and you don't say everything in case the therapist will judge you. So you have always half of the possibilities. You have so locked inside the passwords. You control your facade. You control everything. No one can enter. Even the doctor cannot help you yet. You cannot change this confidence in you yet. Because the only confidence that you know is when you have a facade. When you say, everything is okay, everything is okay, everything is okay. You have kept repeating this for many lives. That's why I said, you come from Asia. That's, if there's one problem in Asia, is expression of emotion. And there are many codes for that. Certain countries, it can be very complicated. My brother used to work in Hong Kong for 12 years, 15 years, I think, a long time anyway. I don't remember the exact number of years. Now he works in I think he's in Dubai, I don't know. And he used to be working as an executive in multinationals. And when he needed to say something to one of the people from Hong Kong, he cannot talk straight. There's a problem, you have done this, you should do this, that, this was not right. He needed to do like a whole detour, and just talk with so much diplomacy that eventually you never touch the person directly. It's too strong. He said you cannot do that in Hong Kong. You cannot do that. Of course, I'm not saying that Chinese and Hong Kong people don't have great qualities, and some of them are not like that. But there's a percentage of the population. It's like in Asia. There's a big percentage of the population, and all Asian people that I know, we are there so often. As you know now, 6 months per year we are in Asia, and we have a lot of students, and it's amazing. The work they need to do on themselves just to learn to express. Hierarchy is so intense there. When you have a boss, it's like you need to, it's so, even me at UCM with the team, I always say, relax. Here, it's not the person, it is the best idea that decides. You can have the best idea. Sometimes you are the boss. And if it's not right, then of course it comes back to another person. We need to work as a team. It's not important, who decides, precisely. We all have sometimes the pieces of the puzzle. But there are people that they play games like this. There are even people that they play the facade that they know everything, but they don't know. They don't have the naturality, They have this facade, and they have built themselves like that. They show off, that they are spiritual master or spiritual, but they are not. There are things that sometimes people don't know what's behind the curtain. So it's so interesting to go deep inside people, to go, to understand. It's like in India, I remember with Santosh one day, we were invited, at a dinner with very, very famous people in India. And one of them was a very, very important guru in India. But you should have seen his character. The way that he was talking to his wife, my God, this was so obvious that this guy is not a spiritual master. He has just a big ego and a nice look. He looks like a spiritual guide. He looks like it. But that's it. There are people, they become expert in manipulations of others, especially in the spiritual world. There's big problems right now on the planet about that. A big problem. People are not working deep enough. They just touch so many things, but they don't enter in themselves. They don't enter. But I'm telling you, if you study dreams and you really do your homeworks and you really go inside, you will see what self-development is. You will break the facade, and you will feel and see emerging a new person, a real new change. There are many people, they have done spiritual practice for 25 years. They have read every book, but they forgot after. They just read and said, wow, 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 oh, wow, look at this, wow. And then the galaxy number 1462 is talking to the galaxy 22-1, and it's like, or the channel told me that I am a great soul, important soul, I have a mission. Yes, okay. Do your mission. Move your feet, do something. If you want a mission, come at UCM. We have a lot of work to do. There are a lot of people that are very good to say, I have a mission, I have a mission. Okay, but your first mission is to know yourself. And then after, you're going to be able to help others the right way, with the good humility and all the devotions, because you have one day the collective dimension in you. You feel you're not just a person anymore. You feel you feel the suffering when you watch the news, but you also have compassion, empathy. You have knowledge. You're not in the form of, looking at suffering where, there's injustice in the world. No, you know that these souls have created that for themselves. Doesn't mean we cannot help them, of course. Up. Change this. Up. Okay. So in a few days from now, we are leaving for the Himalayas retreat. So in Dharamshala with Santosh and Harita. It's like every year now we have a special retreat that we do. It's very profound, very amazing. 6 days in meditation in the mountains. So we're very happy. We have a group of more than 36 people, 40 people, I think, something like that. So it's very profound, and we can visit temples and do teachings, in many places. So we'll be very happy, Christian and I, to be there. We live this Friday to go to India for this retreat. We are also in angelic thoughts with Santosh and Harita. The mother of Santos just passed away, and last week, and now they are doing beautiful rituals and meditation with the family during the week. So all our angelic thoughts are with them. We are in contacts also, and it's so beautiful, the profound ways when we are spiritual people, the way we understand death, the way we can accompany also. I know Santosh and Harita are doing profound work to accompany the mother, because she's in parallel worlds right now, and they do a lot of beautiful angelic practice to help, to do the transition. So also for those who wish, we are, presenting the DSSI training courses. If you are new to our UCM training, the DSSI training is the Dream Sign Symbol Interpretation. You can have information on the website of our foundation at ucm.center. This training is offered in India and Vietnam for international students in English, and in Canada and Europe, in Geneva, Switzerland, actually, for French students. So you can come to India, or Vietnam, because it's two seminars of 4 days per year, and the rest of the year it is a training online. So there's a lot of work and that we can do with this training. It's amazing, and we become with time real experts in symbolic language. So also, if you wish, you can if you wish to analyze your dreams, or if you wish to discuss deeply with a subject, you can make a connection with the Angelica Clinic, and one of our therapists can help you with your questions. So also we have a new program that will start in March 2020 called EQ World, EQ in the World of Business, that will be also given in India and Vietnam. You can have information on the new website, eqworld.business. This will be, a training for symbolic language and ethics also in corporations, and how to, understand and deal with conflicts, and how to understand, expansions, and to do this well in the business when we are a manager or when we are in position of decisions. So this is a very, very advanced training for that. So thank you to all of you. Thank you to all the volunteers also that are helping our foundation in so many countries. Thank you to all also the trustees that are helping, our foundation in many countries. Thank you for your beautiful support. Thank you to Deborah, who has assisted me also for the technical aspects during this webinar today. So I wish you a great continuation, and also remember that one dream, only one dream, can change a life. So thank you.